And so on we go to the Sony press conference.
Yay!
Okay, so it started off pretty well. I mean, the guy came out. They were basically talking about games.
It was very meh.
Actually, it was very good. What are you talking about?
No,
They
like,
started off with a great game.
In total, they raised a lot of hype and everything, but it was, like we were saying for Microsoft, a lot of the games that they were showing off, it's just more of the same.
Really? Beyond Two Souls was not more of the same.
No, that wasn't. I will freely admit that you have a couple of real gems in here.
They ended really well with Last of Us
They
actually
did.
showing... they actually didn't show too much of the Vita. They showed a little bit of the Vita.
Needs
They
more
didn't show-
Vita.
No, they didn't. They did... it was one of my top two. The top two for me were Ubisoft and Sony. They showed really big games. The biggest ones obviously being The Last of Us, being their ending theme. That game looks incredible. That game... I don't even know if it's scripted. Is it not? I don't know. But it looks awesome and I want it. I will give you more monies. I will give you tens of dollars for this game.
He will be giving
Oh
you...
no, I will give you like $70 for this game. This game looks incredible.
He will give you $70.
He will pay $10 more than the average retail
I'd like to say-
non-collectors.
I'd like to say that the two games that they did were the Ellen Page games really well. They obviously showed more of Assassin's Creed 3, unlike the Microsoft one.
Why? Because Assassin's Creed was one of the big things for Xbox.
Assassin's Creed 3 was everywhere.
3 was everywhere. The first one was Xbox. Second one
The
was
first one was just the CG
It's like
trailer. The second one for Ubisoft was gameplay, and then the third for Sony.
No, I'm talking about the game itself.
Oh, the game itself.
The
okay.
game itself. Like, it's odd that, like, because you saw with Sony just how far Assassin's Creed 3 has come. You saw gameplay, for God's sakes, at
It looks
the
incredible.
Ubisoft thing, and it looks great. But why was this not on Microsoft's schedule? Because this is sort of one of their flagship games.
Well,
The first Assassin's Creed was one of the reasons to buy a 360.
Really? What? The other thing was
That was
for
a
both systems.
fantastic game.
It was a fantastic game, but one of the things they did with the 360 was that they had to lower the dynamic in the graphics because they wanted to put higher graphics in the first one for the PS3 because it could handle it, but they couldn't for the 360, therefore lowering the quality.
No, they lowered the quality on the 360. The fact and the problem was
Well, they lowered it on the
PlayStation-
PS3 to match the 360.
They lowered it on the PS3 to match the 360, which they shouldn't have done, because that would have actually sold PS3s. The problem was at the time that came out, the PS3 simply wasn't selling. It was far too expensive. There weren't enough good games for it, and
Well, they haven't made their core-
you could get the same game for a cheaper system that looked just as good, and it ran away with it. No one expected Assassin's Creed to be as big a game series as it became.
I wouldn't say that's the game that sold it. The game that sold the Xbox 360 was
I'm not
like
saying it was
Halo
the
and
game.
Gears.
No, I'm not saying it was the game, but it was one of the games.
I'd still disagree, but I'd say it's Halo and Gears that sold it because you could only get those games on 360.
Fair point. It's always going to be the
But
exclusive.
anyways, back to like the Sony press conference because we got way off topic.
I
there.
did it
Oh,
for
heard it.
Disgaea. I bought the PS3 for Disgaea.
Okay.
Anyway,
Most people don't know about Disgaea.
I do.
That's exactly why we hired her.
Yeah, she knows the Japanese games that we don't know. But anyways, back to the Sony press conference. I loved it because they really are running with their business model of we love games, we love gamers, we are going to give you games.
Thank God.
Unlike the other ones that had Usher and Flo Rida.
There was a Final Fantasy
mean Florida?
trailer.
No, Flo Rida.
Florida.
It was a real time.
You wish it was.
It was a real time demo that they showed, and it was gorgeous. I forgot the title.
What game was
Agni.
this?
Final Fantasy Agni.
Okay, that wasn't during the press conference. I know that much.
It was at the booth itself.
Okay, that was at the booth.
But it's gorgeous. Everybody there has wrinkles, so many wrinkles, and old, and voice capture, and I was like, hey, they don't look like women for once. Excellent, and they're men.
They actually have men in the Final Fantasy series.
You finally grew up.
Yeah, but
You
anyways,
have a beard.
like I said, Beyond Two Souls, the one that Ellen Page is actually in, the really big game. This is made by the developers of Heavy Rain. That looks incredible. It looks so story heavy. They didn't show us any gameplay, mind you, but it looks like it's a supernatural thriller, essentially. Looks incredible. The acting was amazing. It actually looked like a TV show or a movie. the way all the character animations were done.
It really looks like they seriously refined what Heavy Rain had already done before.
I can't wait to see what gameplay's like for this, because it looks amazing. I didn't see any gameplay yet. So.
It's looking good.
Yeah, and it's a new IP. There's so many good IPs that were released this year.
That is the same. That was the same, and that is like the big thing for the Sony press conference.
And the reason Ubisoft was good too. And we'll get to Ubisoft later.
My question is, will it be just a spiritual successor, or will it?
We don't know.
Will it take place in the same universe?
We don't know. It's probably if it's a spiritual success, that means it's gonna have the same gameplay as Heavy Rain, but we don't know if it's gonna have that. For all we know, it could be action adventure. It could be something like Deus Ex. We don't know.
We're looking.
All I know is it's Crystal Dynamics. Sony, they're the guys who make Sony games like Naughty Dog and Crystal Dynamics know how to make story. Like they do narrative so well. Something that the guys for like the Microsoft games like Gears and Halo are only starting to get. These guys are so established with their narrative-based games. Like I just can't wait to like find out, because apparently you go through 15 years of this girl's life.
Wow.
That's amazing to me. Like, and you thought 30 years of Assassin's Creed, like that's one thing. That you're going through different stages of his life, obviously.
Well, here's the thing, though. They said you go through all these lives and you see how these characters age and everything.
You're talking about Assassin's Creed, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And what you ended up with is the same gameplay mechanics from beginning to end, and every now and again they would cut to a couple of years later.
Well, one of the things they're kind of doing new with Assassin's Creed 3, sorry to get back on that topic, is they're adding different elements that you have to fight against, because now you got to fight against the wild, not just against the Red Coats, the Templars, and the Templars. They've said even though you see him fighting a lot of Red Coats, he will be fighting the Union as well.
Right.
Though I do have to say that CGI trailer was a little bit ridiculous when he charged the battle lines themselves, and George Washington's like, Connor's doing it. Let's go back out there after we ran away. Go back. He's doing it. He's doing it.
For
Beyond Two Souls.
For Beyond Two Souls, I'm kind of surprised that they didn't have any gameplay for it. Like,
that's kind of been the common theme with all of them. But keep in mind, this is a new IP. We don't really know how far developed it is.
But conceptually, it's interesting that they're using a Bildungsroman to develop it, which means a developmental narrative. So you start from childhood and you go all the way to adulthood. I think this will gain the sympathy of gamers in such a way that games haven't done for a while.
We actually don't know where it's going to start off. For all we know, it could start when she's 15 and ends when she's 30.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, childhood.
That's if it starts childhood.
Yeah. Well,
she could also start at 20 and end up 35.
Because we're going through 15 years of her life, so I'm assuming, you would start young and then you work
You would assume, but you never know. Crystal Dynamics kind of are a little bit surprising. But anyways, I can't wait to see what gameplay looks like for that, because that game looks beautiful so far. Looks like great acting. So, I mean, it's already got a lot of the elements doing it right. The other big game, obviously, being The Last of Us. We finally get to see gameplay for that, because all we saw were CGI trailers. Now, obviously, post-apocalyptic games been done to death.
Yeah.
But this is post-apocalyptic, not only with a good story to tell, because post-apocalyptics, if you take the story as it is, the story's not bad. It's just they don't tell the story well. This game tells a fantastic story. And it even kind of hints to the fact that the two characters, Ellie and Cole, I think the guy's name is, aren't that isn't his daughter, because she calls him Cole multiple times, not Dad. It's like they're just like friends going through this world, and
it's looking good. It's looking very good.
And you gotta wonder, is some of it scripted? Like if he didn't pull that clip during the gameplay trailer, and the guy's like, "Oh, I know what that sound means." Was that scripted, or if he didn't pull that, would that guy have just stayed there, not knowing if he had a bullet left? And also, like, you see Ellie pick up a brick, and then all of a sudden when that guy comes in to try and shoot him because he sees you don't have any bullets, she throws the brick at him. Was that also scripted, or is that just a thing she does?
In the game.
Is that just gameplay? Like, she just picks up stuff and she'll chuck it at Or like when the guy's on top of you and she stabs the guy. Is that something she'll do multiple times?
You know, that's what I've wanted. I've wanted forever.
It's
a useful companion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know the Resident Evil game where you have to like put you
4.
play as Leon and you put
Yeah,
protect the
Resident
President's
Evil
daughter
4.
forever. She does nothing.
Well, there's also like number
Absolutely
2 where you
nothing.
have to protect her and Silent Hill 2.
Yeah.
We have to protect. Or sorry, Silent Hill, the 21 Sacraments one. Where you have to protect her because if she dies, like that's one of the endings. You have to like keep her from harm. But anyways, she actually looks useful.
Useful companion.
It's also a trailer where we get gameplay, and I don't know enough of it. I want to know more. I need to know about this game so much.
It's a very pretty looking game, man. It definitely, like the fact that a trailer can tug at your heartstrings and everything, you immediately empathize and feel for these two.
You also get a chance that they really care for each other. They work so well for each other, and the gameplay was just I just can't say enough about the gameplay.
Like, unfortunately, we don't have time for that.
Yeah, but another really good thing, going back on the Assassin's Creed thing, Assassin's Creed did bring up a thing with the Vita, Assassin's Creed Liberation. Not only is it the first female assassin, but this is also the first assassin story that will run in parallel with another assassin.
Which I'm very much looking forward to.
Yeah, it looks incredible. I have a reason to buy the Vita because they're bundling it with the white Vita for December.
That's very nice.
Awesome. When I do have money, I will definitely buy the Vita
I am.
one day.
Yeah, that's going to be my package that I will buy is the white Vita, and it comes with a 4 gig one of the PSP cards.
I've already charted out where my first 4 paychecks are going, and this just took up my 5th.
Yeah,
it's not fair.
Yeah, it really
is.
isn't.
Money.
Like,
but
this is why I said, like, Sony, just take my money. Just take it. I don't care.
But here's the thing.
Ubisoft in general, like, these are all Ubisoft, except for Last of Us. These are all Ubisoft games.
Here's the very big
this
thing.
year.
Here's the very big thing about the Sony conference, and I'm afraid this is going to have to be the last point. Sony needed to hit this one out of the park because
they did it.
Because after last year's E3 conference, in the intervening time, they actually had to lay off a massive amount of their staff because Sony itself as a company took massive financial losses. Now, it wasn't because of PlayStation. PlayStation and the gaming market is the only thing keeping them
PS3 is
afloat.
actually making the money.
Exactly. The gaming market is the only thing that's actually keeping them afloat right now. Their TVs simply cannot compete because they stopped investing properly in them. As a company, they needed to knock this out of the park because this is the only thing for them that is keeping them going right now. And that's after heavy layoffs and cutbacks.
Which is unfortunate. It's not they're not the only ones, by the way. It's a lot of companies are experiencing that too.
A lot of companies are experiencing it, but we didn't expect it from something that has been as long-lasting and as strong as Sony.
Well, you could say that about Microsoft because they're losing a lot of money too, even though they've been the leader in sales for the Xbox. They keep they keep going down.
The reason they've been leader for Xbox is because any Ring of Death replacement system they count as another unit going out as a sale for some reason. Well, they don't call it a sale, but they basically call it outgoing units, which is the number they give people, which is a combination of their sales of the system and replacements of broken systems.
Guys, it sounds like Gundams. Outgoing units.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But anyways, I like Sony. All their games are amazing. Yeah.